Welcome back to the Puck Bunker. I'm Rocco Zappia, joined as always by my co-host, the man who, while watching the New York City mayoral elections, said, "Zoran, isn't that an Adam Sandler movie?" Darren Boyce, how you doing?
So I'm excited. I'm excited tonight, Rocco. I'm really excited. I like the guys we're talking about tonight.
And you know what? We're gonna have to give some credit to, I'd say 2 or 3 of our viewers who, between comments and Twitter messages, have said, "Hey, you fuckers need to watch this Albert Schmitz guy. You fuckers need to get on this guy because you fuckers are behind on a guy that you're really gonna like." And to those viewers who pointed him out, there's a couple of you. Thank you, because you're absolutely
Yeah, we
right.
like
And
them.
the only thing I can say is I wish we watched his kids sooner. So Albert Schmitz would be one of our players of the day, and the other will be Malte Gustafsson, another defenseman.
We're in Europe
So
today.
we're in Europe today. We're covering some guys that, spoiler alert, we think are underrated. Finally, a couple guys that we're I think excited about in a draft class that we have been saying is pretty overrated so far, but we're getting there. We're coming around a little bit. Where do you want to start, Darren?
Go with the excitement, Rocco. Go with the
All right.
excitement.
Okay. Albert's Schmitz King. That's a mouthful. There's too many S's in a row.
Here we go. We can't get our names correct, but nonetheless.
Multiple Alberts Schmitz. Okay. From Latvia, playing in Liga for Ukraine in the men's league, playing against men in Finland's top league. He started the year in the U20 league, had a meager 6 goals, 10 points in 5 games. And that's coming from a 6'3", 205-pound left-handed defenseman. He's played the last 23 games. He said, "Okay, you're way too good for this under 20 shit. We're going to move you up to the top league." And he's responded. He's got another 6 goals and 11 points in 23 games, playing against the top men in the Finnish league. So statistically, very impressive start right off the bat, and then you watch him, and it's immediate. He stands out. You don't have to watch for this player. He's a guy that you could be a casual fan watching the game, and you say, "Oh, this guy is pretty good, isn't he?" And the most impressive thing about the fact that he's playing in Liga this year is not just that, like, he doesn't just fit in that league. I find he excels. I think he's one of the better players on the ice, and he's put in every situation. I mean, he's running the power play, highly effective at it. He's out there the first shift of overtime, lining up. You know, who does a coach trust more when it's 3-on-3? He's putting out guys that he thinks can win in the game, and more than that, not losing the game. And he's out there as an 18-year-old defenseman, so it's wildly impressive. As far as his skill set goes, tick 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 tick. Haven't found a box he doesn't check, to be completely honest, other than being right-handed. That's the only empty box. And unless he switches sticks, I mean, that one's going to stay empty. But this guy is plus attributes absolutely across the board. And a lot of these are bordering on elite. His skating is fan-fucking-tastic. He can close on guys. He can pull away from guys. He's quick. He's got good pivots. He's got fast hips. He's got really good change of direction. The quick twitch with this guy is there. He doesn't get beat wide by smaller, faster guys. Defensively, he's excellent defensively. He's typically very rarely out of position. He's physical. He wins his battles. He's strong. Even when he gets knocked down, he's still battling. And I've seen him not just once, but multiple times get knocked down in a corner, stay on top of the puck, come out of the scrum with it, and lead the play up ice with a nice breakout pass. Offensively, I think that might be the only question mark that someone may have, is how high is the offensive ceiling? If there was one thing to nitpick, and I'm not, because I'm not one of the people that would say this, but I would suggest that might be The drawback, if there is one, is how high is the offensive ceiling now? When they say that, I am picturing like, to me, offensively, I see a guy that has a lot of the same tools as Miro Heiskanen, Jake Sanderson, and Alex Pietrangelo, where it's their very high-end guys with the puck. They have good ability to get the puck on net, good shooting ability, good passing ability. They see the ice very well. They see the plays that are there. They're highly intelligent players, but they're not a Cale Makar or a Quinn Hughes or an Adam Fox or a Lane Hudson in the sense of the flash and dance and the maybe 85, 90 point potential, right? I don't think this is a Matthew Schaefer, although despite the fact that he's 6'3" and already over 200 pounds, he does. Now he's playing against men, so he's going to look skinny, but he looks skinny. And this is a player that didn't have a ton of notoriety coming into the season. Now, a big part of that is because he's Latvian, and that's not fair, but it is what it is. He's going to be discovered a little bit later. So, but that said, I do feel like I watch him and I sense some rawness to his physical development still. So I don't want to underrate his offense at all, because I mean, he put up 2 points a game as a U20 junior defenseman, and now he's over or he's right around half a point a game in a men's league, which is typically a decently low scoring league at that, right? But again, if there was going to be a critique on him, it's maybe he's not a 90-point defenseman. Oh no, boo-hoo. He's a 3-zone force. He's extremely, extremely intelligent as a player. His skating routes are very efficient. His aggressiveness is right on point where I want it to be, where it's anytime he has a chance to engage or finish a check, he does, but he doesn't take himself out of position trying to run around and blow guys up. He's very, very good with that. Strong in his battles. I talked about that already. His positioning is very good in all 3 zones. 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids going to puck watch now and then, and I've seen maybe an instance or two of him leaving his man open and getting a scoring chance against or a goal against. But I mean, it's rare, and for his age and for what league he's playing in, I'm more than happy with his head swivel ability, I suppose, in the defensive zone, not getting stuck staring at the puck carrier is what I'm getting at. His coaches trust him. Skating is phenomenal. The puck movement is very, very good. Not the best I've ever seen, but very, very, very good. And this guy's ranked right now, Elite Prospects Consolidated ranking, which, as I always say, is not done specifically. It's their, they're pulling from all the major sources across the internet. Their consolidated ranking has him at 35th right now, and that is a fucking joke. That's an absolute joke. This is a top 10 pick easily to me right now, and he's inside my top 5. And I think he could push Verhoff to be the first defenseman taken in this class if people are actually fucking paying any attention to what he's doing. Now, I like Verhoff. I like Verhoff more than Boyce. We'll recover Verhoff at some point here in the second half, because we did cover him early on, but I don't know that he'll surpass him because he's a right-handed Canadian who's getting a ton of viewings playing in North America. I personally feel like this could be just as valuable, if not more valuable, of a player when it's all said and done. I don't have a goddamn bad thing to say about him. I couldn't find something that drove me nuts about him. I watched 5 games trying to find something that I really disliked, and the only thing that I could muster up was he might not score. He might not be a point a game defenseman in the NHL. Yeah, well, maybe not, but I think he's a damn good bet to be a 45 to 65 point guy. Again, like the guys I mentioned, Heiskanen, Sanderson, Pietrangelo. These are superstar players, some of which are in the Norris Trophy conversation regularly, and if not, they should be or will be. Guy who's captained the Stanley Cup team and who's won another, being the best defenseman on that team. This is a highly valuable piece that I'm going to point, and this has nothing to do with the success of the player, because the player's been hurt, and I don't want to get into the fucking debate about if it was the right pick for Montreal or not. But in terms of his draft year trajectory, being ranked as a second rounder, late first, at this point in the season, then out of nowhere, rocketing up the draft boards, that was David Reinbacher, who was that guy who ended up being 5th overall draft pick to Montreal, and who possessed a lot of the same traits in terms of the two-way, the puck moving, the ability to defend, the size, the skating. Teams like this. Edmondson in Detroit went a lot higher than people thought. Sider, for that matter, too. These guys go a lot higher in June than people think they will in November, because they may not have the same highlight reels as some other guys, or they're from smaller countries or smaller teams. It's only November still, and I feel like we slept on this guy way too long. So don't make that same mistake. That's Albert Smits, who, as far as I'm concerned, is a slam dunk top 10 pick in this draft class, and I believe there's a very strong possibility that he pushes for the top 5.
All right, I'll nitpick a little bit, but I tend to agree with most of what you're saying. So one, he is a December 07 birthday, so he's going to be a little bit older than, say, Verhoff. So just, it is noteworthy. And he is left-handed. So those are the two differences we have there.
Well, I just said I don't think he's going to pass him, but continue.
Yeah, but that's in general when that conversation inevitably, I'm going to say inevitably, starts happening, which it will at some point. That's probably what'll keep him from passing him. But I will say I think it's going to happen. I think that conversation will be had by some people here later in the year. Nonetheless, okay, skating. I think his skating's great for his size. He's big, he's strong, he moves efficiently. I mean, I don't see any real weakness in his skating really at all. And again, he is a young guy playing. In every viewing I've had, he's by far the youngest guy playing. And he fits right in, or it's a plus against pros. Like, I think his skating is a plus in Liga as a big guy. Like, that's, again, I'm going to throw back to last year. Some of the D we saw that tried to play pro. Like, again, Radim Murka, top 10 pick, play pro, looks slow. This guy's not slow. This guy, he's fast, he's powerful, and pivots really well. Like, I can't say enough. Really good skater for his size, and it's probably better because he's big. So it's
well, there's room to grow with it because he's big.
It's a plus skill. Like, I think it's. I mean, he even has some moves with the puck. Like, he has a good spin move he can use. His edges are strong. There's no weakness here, and in turn, we're going to talk about his defensive game. Like, his defensive side of the game is really strong already for a young guy. Stick's really good. He's a really good rush defender. I mean, it's really hard to get by him if you're going one-on-one, like, just because the stick's so long and the skating's so good. It's, again, side to side's good. He keeps a good gap. Like, this is a solid. If you're looking for a draft eligible defenseman to be a good defender, this is it. He's a better skater than Verhoff is. Again, we've had some questions about his foot speed at times. Like, there's a no doubt this guy can skate. There's zero doubt about that. No question about it. Again, as I said with his defensive side, though, the only thing I might nitpick a bit on that, I mean, he gets a little bit aggressive at times on pinch decisions and maybe looking for offense. I don't know if that's, especially in the Deutschland Cup games. Like, I think he was looking for offense a little bit more. It is also noteworthy that he's playing pro guys and his coaches have allowed him to look for offense. I think that's actually kind of rare. He actually has the confidence to do it, and they keep putting him out there. And I'm not going to say he's running around riverboat gambling, but he takes some chances at times. But you can see when he's bearing down, he's being he can be a good defender if he's just focusing on defense. So I have no questions about this guy. Physicality is quite good. I think the offense is inconsistent, but it's better than some other guys we've seen. Is it, like, am I guaranteeing like this guy's going to get 60 points as a D? No. Do I think he has a possibility of being a 40-point D? Probably. I think that's a possibility. He moves the puck decently, but again, it's inconsistent in my viewing. Some games he struggles with it, and other games he looks really good. So it's kind of, again, we need to see him grow into that a little bit more. I think he's a pretty good handler. I mean, he can handle at speed for a defenseman. The puck's not a grenade. I mean, he handles passes well. The other thing is too, he's a good partner passer. Like he is really good at moving the puck between him and his, whoever his D partner is. Good on retrievals that way. So that part of his game's good. It's more just maybe straight breakouts or offensive kind of, rush passing that I might have more concerns about. But I mean, if that's my concern for a 6'3" defenseman at 17 years old, I'm not that upset about it. So I have this guy definitely firmly in my top 10. I think he's, as of right now, the second best defenseman on the board. And I think that he is worth having a discussion with over the consensus number one, or with the consensus number one defenseman on the board. Again, whether you want to put him over him or not, that's everyone else can discuss that, but he's definitely worth having the conversation. And I was pleasantly surprised how good he was. This is one of the first guys that I've watched where I'm like, oh, great. Like this guy actually, like this guy's really good. Like I don't have many things that I'm worried about with him. So Alberts Smits, lots of S's. So I don't know. I don't know if you've seen more of the offense or not than I have, but I mean, it's more than a Carroll's. I think it's more consistent than even maybe a Rudolph is. The other thing, actually, before I'll give it back to you.
His shot's really good.
His shot's good too. Yeah. Again, I think he could play on
a power. Really good.
Yeah. Like I think he can play on a power play. There might be maybe a better guy at the NHL level. That's, maybe an elite puck moving power play guy, but I think he can play on a power play, which is kind of like that 40-point kind of do everything defenseman. But we did talk about Villeneuve last time and how he turned over he would get a turnover and just fire it right back up the ice, right? He's pretty good at this. Like he can do that. Like he can, again, create a turnover and get it going right back up the ice. Whether he does it consistently, or hits the guy consistently, that's a different story. But again, he's playing a far better level than Villeneuve.
I think he's very strong on the retrievals too, which is a big thing. He gets in there quick. He checks both shoulders, like he knows what's around him, and he's picking the puck up in motion, very fluid with it, and he's able to turn it up ice quickly. And again, like you said, maybe the outlet passing might be something that you want to see again for a guy that we think is inside the top 10. It's nitpicking. Maybe you want to see that a little more consistently, but his ability to get back there, pick up the puck, get around the net, or do a short turn on the short side and up the board sort of thing. He gets that done really quickly. And even if the odd time maybe the pass isn't perfectly on a guy's tape, he's making the right read as to which is the proper breakout target. He's not throwing it into a trap. He's not throwing it into a guy that's being keyed on. He's getting back there with pressure on him, and he's very calm, extremely poised. I find it's like he knows the pressure's there, but he doesn't feel the pressure at all. And he moves the puck up. Teams really look for that. How retrievals are really important for teams.
He wins races. Like that's the other thing. Like he wins every race for the most part, which isn't, again, you don't maybe see it in the score, on the scoreboard or in the stats all the time. But if you watch the game, and he's getting to a puck before the other guy all the time, and whether it's with his stick or he's just physically getting there, it happens constantly. It tells me he has a good first step. He has a good long stick. He has a strong stick. Like he's gonna win puck. And we're talking about a young defenseman here. It's, again, a lot of the guys we've talked about on D there's some concern about them, whether it's, their size or maybe their skating or just decision making. Like I don't really see the major flaw here, because as you said, maybe if I'm worried about breakout passing or rush passing, but I mean, you're right. Like, he's not making terrible reads. It's just like he's just missing a guy, but he's trying to do the right thing. So, I mean,
It's not like he really. It's not like he makes. I haven't seen him like throw. I'm like, wow, that was a bad.
like a
pass.
gotta be Domino's pizza.
Yeah. No, exactly. The misses are in the feet or on the. They have to reach for it. Like it's not even a bad miss when he misses.
Yeah, and we have to remember too, he's playing Liga. Like, he isn't doing this in.
And the other thing too, he's playing Liga on his offside.
Yeah,
He's playing the right. He's playing right D.
there you go. So looks like he can play all over the blue line. Looks like it's okay.
What does that say about how much a coach trusts him? He's an 18-year-old kid playing in the top men's league in the country for them, and he's a left-handed defenseman, and he's playing the right side like regularly.
One thing I'd like to point out too, when he's playing in the Deutschland Cup, which is one of the viewings I watched, that is a pro tournament. Now the teams are, I'm going to say, not as good as Liga, like, because it's like Slovakia and it's just people from the Slovakian league in that. But he's still playing pro guys in that league, in that tournament, right? And in that tournament, the offense really stuck out maybe a little bit more than it did in Liga. Like, and I think he might have a little bit more leeway with the Latvian coaching. But I mean, it's noteworthy that the offense looks a little bit better against maybe lesser competition than he's used.
The offense looks against in the U20 league. The offense looks downright high end.
Exactly. So,
and that's against his peers, right?
Yeah. So
that's why I said that might be something that you hear as a knock on him, but I don't think it's a knock. I think this guy has. It's like Haitskin, it's like Pietrangelo, it's like Sanderson. They have as much offense as you want them to have, but they're so good. They're so good in the other two zones that maybe you have a guy who's just more of an offensive guy that gets those looks because of deployment reasons, right? Whereas this guy, it's like, you need me to play the power play? Sure. You need me to play the tough minutes? Sure. Whatever, coach, I'm in, and you'll be good at all of it.
Yeah. So realistically, I'd like to see him as the year goes on, like, obviously maintain the level of play he's had in Liga. But I mean, if we see other viewings and the offense is popping even more, I mean, like, because look, I'm not, I will have Verhoff ahead of him still, but this isn't an unrealistic conversation to have if this is the level of play he's going to maintain. Like, it's really not.
Is there a world where he could go number one?
Look,
people are talking about Verhoff versus McKenna.
Look, I have, as one of the first people who was actually hard on McKenna, I think we're doing the James Haggins thing here where we're going a little bit too far here. Like, he's still the number one. He's still the number one player. Like, let's calm down. He's still gonna get like 50 points in college as like an 18-year-old. Like, he's still gonna be quite good. It's just he's not the perfect prospect that everyone was pointing him out to be, and now everyone's surprised that he isn't. So,
not you though.
No, I'm not. Not really.
Not anyone who watched that MEM Cup final shouldn't be. But
the evidence was there. The evidence was there.
Okay, let's move over to Sweden and take it away there with Malte Gustafsson.
Oh, Malte Gustafsson, what a guy. Okay. Well, look, we saw him in the Holinka. I thought he played pretty well in the Holinka, but nonetheless, let's just kind of go through here. 6'4", 200-pound defenseman, another lefty. He's a June birthday, so he's younger. So we'll give him that, especially compared to Smits. So I'm just gonna kind of go through what I have. Well, let's just say I've noticed of him here lately. Again, here's another big guy who can skate well. I really think his skating is high end. I think again, he's fast. And the other thing too is his effort level might be, again, we rank all our stats out of 7. His effort level might be close to a 7. Like, he is just going a million miles an hour the entire time. However, you could say that's a negative at times for the way he plays, but he does try hard. So Do want to point that out that I do really enjoy the way he plays that way. So again, 6'4" frame that moves well. It's a very high end skater. I'm fine with him out. His forward skating's elite. Backwards, he's good. He's a little wonky, a little more off balance than a guy like Smits is. So again, you just want to see that kind of improve as the year goes on. I think he just needs to gain some strength. 6'4" body, 200 pounds. I think he can get up to 220, 225. So we're looking okay that way. He does have a strong stop and start. He does have good edges in terms of creating speed. That's what I really, like, that he can just pull away with one or two strides. That's good. Also loved his physicality. He is throwing guys around in pro, which is impressive. 17. He's a young again, young for the draft class. He's playing in the, he's played some games in the Swedish Hockey League, which is a Swedish Elite League, was one of the games I've watched. Basically mostly J20 this year, but again, he's just got called up and he was not scared to be out there. He was first shift. He was hammering guys, and he can physically dominate guys at that age, which again, impressive. As a defender, look, he puts a ton of pressure on puck handlers to make decisions. That would be, again, that's how he defends. He's not a patient defender. He's going to make you make a decision. He's a pressure defender. Now, what I'm worried about is sometimes he is a little bit too aggressive in the way he defends, because I said this to you before, he wants to end the play that second. He wants to get the puck back that second. There's not really a lot of patience in his defending. However, it's effective, especially when the J20. He is way too good for that league. He is, I would almost say he's borderline scaring guys on the other team. So he is too good for that league. I think he's looked pretty good in the Swedish league so far. What I would be interested in is how that style of defending would hold up and how NHL teams actually view that type of defending, because he's a guy I think the team will need to harness a little bit. It's not as easy. Let's just say this. It's not as easy to see the NHL potential, with Smits. Like, you're like, this is an NHL guy, the way he plays. Like, Gustafsson's kind of unique in the way that he defends. So he will need some work. But again, with the skill set, I'd much rather have a guy who, is trying too hard than not trying at all. So I'm okay with that. Now, offensively is where I kind of have a bit more. There's more need for growth here. I think he pushes for offense too often, gets caught up ice and gets caught in bad positions. So that's kind of the knock on him. He wants to play offense, but he's just, again, I don't think it's the best use of him. In terms of like a playmaker, he's fine. His simple playmaking in front of him is fine. He works as his partner fine. His stretch passing, though, isn't great. His breakout passing, it's okay. It's inconsistent. He just misses some breakout options too often. Like, again, he's just overhandling or just doesn't really see the outlet. That's where this is where you want to see the major improvement with him, is you want to see him be able to make consistent breakouts, especially at again, the size skating capability screams a top 20 pick regardless. I really think, you're not going to turn down a guy that skates like this, that early. And again, he can move the puck. Like, he has the ability to do it. It's just getting it more consistent. The other thing is shot. Like, I think it's somewhat of a slow release. I don't find it to be that accurate. Puck skills are fine. Again, he has a good, strong defensive stick. I'm not worried about, that part of his game. He just gets caught over handling at times, and at times he just kind of bobbles the puck at times. So again, I think what you're looking at here is you're looking at a guy who has tools that NHL teams will want, because he's a big guy who can skate, who's physical, can end plays. And he does show inconsistently that, there's some offensive upside here. Like he can, he wants to play offense. He's not afraid to. He can move the puck a little bit. It's inconsistent. It's just, let's harness him a little bit. So again, I think he's also undervalued. He's playing for, by the way, he's playing for HV71 in the SHL right now and the J20. So, but yeah, like let's see how he looks continuing to play pro in Sweden. Because again, his first couple outings were not bad. He looked quite effective. So I think he's undervalued again. We've seen him in the rankings. He's in the teens. Sportsnet had him at 21, I believe. I think he should be earlier teens. I really think that's where he should be ranked. I like his skill set better than some of these other guys we have question marks with. Just in terms of the effort, the size, the skating, and you could see the defensive upside here. So anything that you saw here that really stuck out to you?
I don't disagree with much of what you said at all. I think we're kind of on the same page with this player. I would say if we're comparing him to Smits, I think he has an edge in the physicality department and the lunatic department. I think he's a little more unhinged than Smits, not even in a bad way. Look, I've said this before. I'd rather try to tame a stallion than motivate a donkey, right? And this guy needs to. I talked about Smits doing a really good job picking his spots of when to be physical. This guy wants to be physical whenever he can. Whenever he thinks there's a chance to body a guy, he's gonna. And I don't mind it, but he's got to pick his spots a little bit better. And otherwise, his scouting report, I think he's very similar to Smits, but just maybe a half a tick or a quarter tick beneath him, kind of across the board. But very similar in the sense that I think there's some two-way ability. Although with this player, the defensive prowess might be the bread and butter more so than being a true two-way guy. The puck movement in the offense is good enough for me. I don't think it's elite. Is there a world where he's playing on a second power play in his prime? Maybe. I don't think we're looking at a first power play guy. Whereas with Smits, I think there's more of a chance for him to develop into that. But the skating here is excellent. The size and skating combo is fantastic, as is the willingness to do the dirty stuff, the dirty work in the defensive zone. That's obviously there at this player. I don't like having to question a guy's effort level, and that's an absolute plus for this guy. I don't have a strong opinion on his hockey sense either way. I think it's fine. It's good. It's good. It's not bad. It's not elite. It's good. It's where you want it to be. Not standing out sometimes isn't a bad thing, right? So I don't think it's not Wayne Gretzky out there the way he thinks the game, but it's not Cody Ceci either. So
Cody Ceci's going to play over 1,000 games, man. 1,200 games, actually.
Because he's a big defenseman who can skate. Honestly, I picked Cody Ceci because he's a whipping boy in Ottawa for long enough. He's actually fine when he's deployed in the right situation. The problem is teams put him in situations that are a little harder to handle. But we're not talking about Cody Ceci right now. Point is, this guy's hockey sense is fucking fine. Okay, I don't have a problem with his decision making. He's a little more prone to being a puck watcher, I think, than Smits is, and I think a lot of that is because, like you said, he wants to stop the play right there, and he's fine. He's looking for ways to how do I separate this guy from the puck, right, as quickly as possible. Where sometimes you gotta let it come to you a little bit more, but it's what we talked about, is picking your spots a little bit better. I think EP's consolidated him, has him in the late teens right now, right around 17. I think that's actually fair for this player. I think early teens to early 20s is kind of the mold of this kind of guy for me. I don't see the high end offensive upside to put him into a top 10 conversation. And I don't see necessarily the steadiness of a guy like Carroll's, that has him in that top 10 for me, despite maybe not being a guy who projects as a 70-point D either. So this is a guy that I like. It's not ho hum because you really like the skating ability and you really like the aggressiveness and the physicality. But it's just like there's not a ton of major holes to overcome here. Like I don't see. I'm not like, oh, this really needs to improve badly because this is so bad right now it'll keep him out of the league. I don't see a trait like that here, but I don't necessarily see a trait that I'm like, this is for sure going to be an 800 game defenseman either, right? There are some things that need to come, but again, you like the package, like you said, you like the tools, you like the package, and this is a guy that I think in a couple seasons as he grows into grows into his frame and reels it in a little bit with the aggressiveness. Again, nice problem to have as far as I'm concerned. I think you're looking at a pretty damn good prospect here.
So I ranked him right now, and again, this is November 23rd, the night of our recording. I put him at 13 on my rankings. That's where he's at right now. And I basically have him and Rudolph in the same spot because I think they're
You
both
also hate a lot of guys for no reason so far.
well, not no reason. It's just I'm not excited with them. It's different. But I have them in similar spots because you can see like there's tools here, right? That are good. There's good tools. I think Gustafsson has higher end tools than him, but I think maybe Rudolph might have a bit more of an offensive upside than he has. But the counter I have with Gustafsson though, when he plays J20, like he does have more offensive tools, right? And or when he plays amongst his peers, even so. That's a thing to keep an eye on with him because
But I didn't
again,
see a ton of high end offense from him at the Holinka.
nobody played well.
He did.
So I mean, which also is a good sign. But yeah, you're right. But we like so I have Gustafsson like a slot ahead of Rudolph right now because I really like the skating better and I like the physical package that he brings better. But that's kind of what we're looking at here. Like these are guys that he's a guy you need to develop. Like he's not, obviously you need to develop everybody, but he's not a finished product. Like it's what you can make him into. The canvas is good. Some teams or some scouts who are like, man, like look at this. Like we can make this guy into a 1,200 game defenseman. We just have to mold him, like give him a couple years. We can make this guy good. And that's kind of the type of prospect you're looking at here. There is upside here with the skating. There's no reason, again, upside, right? There's no reason you can't be. You can see a number one pair guy with the skating and the physicality and the size, and even the general defensive tools. They seem to translate in the Swedish league. So at 17, like this is interesting, and so I'm like, again, I'm on board with this. And yes, guess what? Darren likes another big guy, another big defenseman. But guess what? They're the guys who play. So sorry. So and hey, guess and even on our last episode, I talked about the smaller defenseman, and I even really liked one of them. So I'm just saying, like it's like some team's gonna jump at him. Someone's going to be really excited with the package. They really are.
Yeah,
And
like this is a first rounder.
yeah,
For sure.
100%. And this is a guy too, like if you get him in the under 18 tournament, like this is a guy who he has, again, he'll play in that tournament. Like he has a good tournament. He could really open some eyes. Because Sweden should be pretty good in that tournament too, from, at least what we've seen from some of these guys. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm excited. This is the most exciting episode I've had so far.
I like it. We're finally on board here a little bit with some guys. I mean, we had a few guys that we really liked, obviously, but we're exaggerating a little bit. But it is nice to have some solid defensemen. This is looking like a very strong draft for defensemen in terms of depth. There's a ton of defensive depth
and
in this draft.
Different types of guys. Like there's
no Schaefer, obviously.
No,
right? There's not a guy like that, and I would say there's maybe not even a guy with Parek's upside necessarily either, although people think Leonard Villeneuve might, but we'll see. That's why I kind of hesitated. We'll see on that because the talk has been there. But I think there's a ton of depth, especially in big two-way guys, and certainly better defensive depth than forward depth. Unless you're looking for a skill winger, there's lots of those, I guess. But
Yeah,
just
well,
not a lot of center.
Yeah, there's the center depth is still what you're looking for here. But the D are, again, I still do think this draft is overrated for how it's been perceived as the last couple of years. But I think what you're looking at, it's kind of reminded me of a couple of years ago where there was all those D in the top 12. It's kind of similar here. Like there, I think that's kind of what we're looking at least right now. I mean, to me, a lot of these D are the better prospects, to me, because there's bigger guys, there's guys that shoot both ways. I mean, there's righties, there's lefties, there's more physical oriented guys, there's more pro ready guys, there's projects, there's guys who can play some offense, and it's kind of whatever you would like. So I do like the D depth so far. I'm very happy, and there's a couple of guys we still have to review. So.
Plenty of guys to review too. We'll keep it going. So that is Albert's, Smits and Malte Gustafsson. A couple mouthfuls for us who don't speak either of those languages.
I do really hope we can have an Albert Smits versus Keaton Verhoff episode here a bit later in the year. I hope he maintains his play.
Yeah, I mean, he's shooting up people's lists and rightfully so. He's been fantastic as far as either of us are concerned. So check those two guys out and let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll be back soon. Thanks for tuning in, Boyser. Have a great night.
See you later.